Hello and welcome back to another Magic the Gathering draft video. I got another update on the format here. How to actually win some games with green. I've come around a little bit on green. If you saw my last video, I was calling it the worst color in the format. That still might be true, but I think the colors are a lot closer together now in terms of ranking than they were early on in the format, with white and blue being far and away the best, and black and green pulling up the rear. I got to give a big shout out to the Rough Drafts podcast. If you haven't checked it out, it's definitely a very worthwhile resource. Sam Pratt over there doing some great work. Latest episode turned me onto the idea of drafting green a little bit differently. So I'm going to give you the long and short of it here, and what I've been doing that's worked out quite well. And like I said, I got a lot of these ideas from Sam, so go check out his awesome podcast. It basically it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of come full circle, and we're just kind of back to the most straightforward answer is the right answer. It really just comes down to the commons and putting them together in a proactive way. So it all starts with Raucous Audience here at 2-mana 2/1 that adds a green, adds 2 green if you have power 4 or greater, which is quite relevant. Ostrich Horse, 3-mana 3/1, mills 3, get a land to your hand, or can become a 4/2, which matters with the Raucous Audience. And then the top of your curve is Badger Mole, which I did mention. I was kind of only half wrong, if I may say, in the last video. I was saying that a proactive green deck kind of does work. And Badger Mole is a nice top end of the curve, 5-mana 4/4, Earthbend 2, and gives your creatures trample if they have counters on them. So these are sort of the 3 key commons, and then supporting those, Rocky Rebuke as a decent removal spell. This is not a great card. It can get blown out, and it doesn't always kill what you need to kill, but if you're rocking big creatures, this is going to get the job done for you most of the time. Pillar Launch, combat trick, you can pick that up quite late. And then Rebellious Captives, which has a pretty low win rate. Not totally sure why, probably just because people are not using it in this sort of context, but you want to have like 3 to 4 Raucous Audiences, and then the rest of your 2s, if you're a heavy green, can be Rebellious Captives. Now, doesn't mean you should be forcing this deck, doesn't mean you should even be trying to draft it, but if you are seeing Raucous Audience early in the draft and you could clock it and pick it up on the wheel on the way back around that pack, that's when you know it's time to get into green. And the reason you might be doing that is because you picked up one of the more premium uncommons, Allies at Last, 3-mana, 2 creatures punch something. Toph, the Blind Bandit, 3-mana, 2/3, Earthbend 2. Gets bigger when you have more Earthbend stuff. These are great reasons to pick up a green card early in the draft if there's sort of nothing else going on. And then, of course, on the rare and mythic side of things, obviously, Earth King, Badger Mole Cub, Earthbender Ascension, we talked about in the previous video, all just very good cards on their face. Legend of Kyoshi, very strong one as well. And then there's some multicolor stuff going on as well that works quite well. Something like Coma, you could definitely play here. Boomy Unleashed is going to work really well. Let me get this menu out of the way. Boomy Unleashed, going to work really well in this deck. Another one that I had recently was Toph Hard-Headed Teacher. This card's quite excellent. And of course, when you're leaning into the mono green side of things, which we didn't really talk about yet, that involves Rockalanche, which people are obviously using incorrectly as it's a C-. This card is really excellent if you are heavy green. If you can play 10, 11 forests in your deck, you're going to be really happy with Rockalanche. It's a lesson, so it goes along nicely with that Toph. So basically, the long and short of it is, if you see some good green uncommons early on, the 2 at the top that I mentioned, Toph and Allies at Last, and if you see a good rare and there's sort of nothing else going on in the pack, then you could sort of try to notice if there's some Raucous Audiences floating around. Maybe you pick one up or you try to wheel it, and then you can really get paid off if you get some late Raucous Audiences, some late Rockalanches, and you could really get going. So the reason why I think I was having so much trouble with green early in the format is I was sort of rating the worst cards as the better cards. So green to me looked like, all right, it's like a multicolor. Let's splash around. Let's do lessons things. Let's play all the good rares we open. Um, Cards like Cycle of Renewal, Sparring Dummy, these cards look pretty powerful in the sense that they provide card advantage, they provide mana fixing for you, they gain you some life, they slow the game down. You can play Earthbending Lesson, and then all of a sudden you can play all these lesson payoffs like Boomy King of Three Trials. This is the card I've got tried to get going multiple times to no success. True Ancestry to buy back all the good rares that we're gonna, open and play. And I'm not saying this strategy can't work, but I think as a baseline, these cards are all kind of traps. And if you're drafting green in the sort of mode of let's go multicolor, let's go for the lessons payoffs, you're gonna have a rough time. So I think the sort of poster for why I was ending up in decks like this was the card Iroh Grand Lotus, which is a really, really powerful card. But rather than being green, blue, splash, red to play Iroh and lessons, I think you should be red, blue, and then just splash green off of like Barrels of Blasting Jelly or some dual lands or something for Iroh, as the red, blue deck is a lot more powerful than a green-based lessons deck. I want to now show you a deck that did really, really well. This was a 7-0. I think my only 7-0 of the format so far. And I'm sorry that I can't show you the draft, as I did the draft on my phone, but played some of the games out on my PC. But I can sort of take you through how the draft did go. I started with Toph Hardheaded Teacher out of a really weak pack that had like none of the top white cards were in there. None of the top blue cards. Like there was no Lightning Strike, no Firebending Lesson, that kind of stuff. Like there was really weak stuff in the pack. And I thought, well, all right, I'll take a Toph, and I'll notice that there's a Raucous Audience in the pack as well that could come back. Okay. And draft sort of progresses along. I'm picking up at least one of each of Firebending Lesson and Lightning Strike, and thought, all right, well, I might be green, but I may also just be red. Picked up a Cave of Two Lovers. And then the wheel comes around, and there's that Raucous Audience. I say, okay, I'm going to grab that. And then I wheel a second Raucous Audience. And now I'm thinking, all right, well, this could really happen. I haven't seen any white. I haven't seen any blue this pack. And so as we go through the draft, I end up with triple Rockalanche late in pack 3. And I was actually heavy enough red that this wasn't even that good in the deck. As you can see, I had to play 6 mountains. And like this was literally every playable green card I had access to. So, I was really stretching to play as much green as I could. I'm playing Earth Kingdom Soldier, which I don't think is good. The Moose Lion is not great either. The Sparring Dummy's not great. Seismic Sense is fine. The nice thing with Toph, of course, is that you get some lesson synergy with Rockalanche and Seismic Sense, Firebending Lesson. So as you can see, I got, some premium removal. We've got triple Raucous Audience to power out our stuff. We got Cave of Two Lovers. We've got a really, really strong rare in Toph, triple Rockalanche. And this deck just does the thing. You get on board early. You power out some bigger creatures with your, mana acceleration. And you go to town. And it's a nice, lean, mean earthbending machine. So I think this is the way that you want your green decks to look. Some people have, called this mid-range, quote unquote. To me, it feels like I would call it like an aggro mid-range deck. We're splitting hairs here, but I think when people think mid-range, they think decks with like a ton of removal and some more later game sort of stuff. And I think like mid-range really does just mean like you can pressure the heck out of your opponent, but like sometimes you're not the beatdown, you're not on the aggressive plan, your opponent's beating you down, and like you could turn the game around by lightning striking a key threat and then playing something like Toph or something like Rockalanche, which gives you a huge body and some value down the line, and you can sort of outcard them out and also sort of just out battlefield them. You just have bigger stuff than them, and that sort of takes you over the top. So that's what I wanted to say about green this week. Please let me know in the comments below if you've had some success with green. How's that working out for you? I'm loving this format. Hopefully you are too. Please leave a comment, a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff to support the channel. And until next time, good luck in your drafts. Bye for now.